There are over 6 million Canadians currently enrolled in the federal Canadian Dental Care Plan, and right now, most of them don't realize that their coverage doesn't automatically renew. If you are one of those 6 million people and you do nothing between now and June 1st, your dental benefits will be cut off at the end of this month. No warning, no second chance, just a gap in coverage, and any dental bills you get during that gap come entirely out of your own pocket. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening with the CDCP renewal deadline, what this federal dental plan actually covers, the pre-authorization trap that's catching retirees off guard, and a detail on your T4A tax slip that could disqualify you without you even knowing it. This affects every Canadian senior enrolled in this program, so let's not waste any time. The Canadian Dental Care Plan, you may have heard it called the CDCP, was introduced by the federal government as a way to help low and middle income Canadians who don't have access to private dental insurance. For many retirees living on a fixed income, this plan has made a real difference. Routine exams, cleanings, fillings, services that were simply unaffordable for years became accessible again. But the plan comes with rules, and one of those rules is tripping people up right now, in the final days of May 2026. Here's the issue. The current benefit period ends June 30th, 2026. To continue into the next period, and which runs from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, you need to renew your enrollment by June 1st. That's tomorrow for many people watching this. If you miss that date, your coverage doesn't pause, it ends. And when general reapplications reopen, you'll have to start the whole process over from scratch, meaning there will be a gap where you have zero coverage. If you happen to need dental work during that gap, you're paying for it yourself. The government has been clear, there are no retroactive reimbursements. Whatever you spend during a coverage gap stays out of your pocket permanently. So if you haven't renewed yet, please do it today. The two ways to renew are straightforward. You can log into your My Service Canada account online, where the renewal portal takes about 10 minutes, or you can call the automated Service Canada line at 1-833-537-4342. Either way, before you renew, you'll need to have filed your 2025 income tax return because the government uses your assessed tax data to verify your income and calculate your benefit level. If you haven't filed yet, that becomes urgent too. Now, I want to make sure you understand how this plan actually calculates what it covers, because this surprises a lot of people. The CDCP is not a flat benefit. It's a sliding scale based on what the government calls your adjusted family net income. For households with an income below $70,000, the plan covers the full amount of the fee guide. You pay nothing for covered services. Between $70,000 and $79,000, you're responsible for 40% of the cost. Between $80,000 and $89,000, your share goes up to 60%. And at $90,000 or above, you're no longer eligible for the plan at all. Here's the part that catches people off guard, though. The plan pays according to its own federal fee schedule, and that schedule is often lower than what your dentist actually charges. So even if your income puts you in the zero copay tier, your dentist may charge more than the plan's approved rate. That difference, called balance billing, comes out of your pocket. Let's say a cleaning is listed at $80 on the CDCP fee guide, but your dentist charges $110. The plan covers the $80, you pay the $30 difference. That's not a penalty, so it's just the gap between the federal schedule and your provider's rates. The only way to avoid that gap is to choose a provider who agrees to accept only what the plan pays. So it's worth asking. Let me tell you about a situation that's more common than you'd think. A retired couple in their early 70s, both on fixed incomes, enrolled in the CDCP when it first launched. They were relieved. For the first time in years, they felt like they could actually afford to go to the dentist. When the wife was told she needed a crown, they figured it was covered. The dentist said he'd take care of the paperwork. They booked the procedure. A few weeks later, a bill arrived for the full amount. The claim had been denied. Why? Because the dentist had gone ahead with the crown before receiving official written approval from the plan administrator. That approval process, called pre-authorization, though, is mandatory for major work, and nobody had told them. This is one of the most important things I want you to remember from this video. For routine services like cleanings, exams, and fillings, you can book and attend without any special steps. But for anything considered major restorative work, crowns, partial dentures, full dentures, you must receive written pre-authorization before the treatment begins. Your dentist submits a formal treatment plan to Sun Life, which administers the CDCP on behalf of the federal government. That submission needs to include x-rays, detailed charting, and a written explanation of why the work is medically necessary. Sun Life reviews it, and only if you receive an official approval letter, what's called an explanation of benefits, should you proceed with the appointment. The reason this matters so much is that the criteria for approval are stricter than most private insurance plans. Many Canadians who applied for crown or denture coverage under this plan have reported being denied. If you go ahead with the procedure before the approval letter arrives, the claim will be rejected entirely. You'll owe the full amount. There are no exceptions. The approval, if granted, is valid for 12 months, so once you have it, you have a reasonable window to schedule the procedure. But the sequence is non-negotiable. Approval first, treatment second. There's something else worth raising here, and I'll explain why it matters in a moment. Not every dentist in Canada participates in the CDCP. The program is set up so that Sun Life pays participating providers directly. You don't pay up front and get reimbursed later. That's not how it works. If you see a dentist who doesn't participate in the plan, you cannot submit the receipt and get your money back. The expense is simply yours to bear. So before you book any appointment under this plan, call the clinic and ask directly, do you participate in the Canadian Dental Care Plan, and will you bill Sun Life directly? You can also use the provider search tool on the Sun Life website to check ahead of time. It takes 2 minutes and could save you hundreds of dollars. Before I get to what I think is the most overlooked part of this entire topic, and it involves a code on your tax slip, let me say something quickly to anyone who's been finding these retirement updates useful. If this kind of clear, practical information is helpful to you, I genuinely appreciate it if you subscribe to Canadian Retirement Benefits. We cover the programs, rules, and changes that matter most to Canadian retirees, without the jargon. Now, let's talk about that tax slip detail because this one genuinely surprises people. When you receive your T4A slip from your pension plan each year, the slip that reports your pension income, there's a box on that form called Box 15. This box contains a code, and that code determines whether you're eligible for the CDCP at all. The federal government requires pension administrators to report whether their recipients have access to dental benefits through the plan, not whether they're using the coverage, not whether they've enrolled, whether they have access. Code 1 in that box means you have no dental coverage through your pension, and you're eligible to use the CDCP. Codes 2 through 5 mean your pension plan offers some form of dental access. And if your slip shows any of those codes, you are disqualified from the CDCP entirely. Even if you never enrolled in your pension's dental plan, even if you opted out of it years ago, even if you'd have to pay a significant premium to activate it, under the current rules, having access is the same as having coverage in the government's view. Think about what that means practically. There are retirees right now who enrolled in the CDCP in good faith, used the benefits, and may now face repayment demands because their T4A slip shows a code 2 or higher. Even if they never once used the dental plan their pension technically made available, if you're in this situation, you need to contact your pension administrator to find out whether the code on your slip is accurate. If it's an error, if your pension doesn't actually offer dental access, your administrator needs to issue an amended T4A and provide a signed confirmation letter stating that you do not qualify for their dental plan. That documentation protects you, so take a moment after this video to pull out your 2025 T4A slip and check box 15. If it shows code 1, you're clear. If it shows anything else, you need to investigate before renewing or using your CDCP benefits. Let's bring everything together because there's a lot to keep in mind, and I want to leave you with the clearest possible picture. The deadline to renew your CDCP enrollment is June 1st. If you haven't done it, please do it today, either online through My Service Canada or by phone at 1-833-537-4342. Make sure your 2025 taxes are filed because the government uses that data to set your coverage tier. Before any dental appointment, confirm that your provider actively participates in the plan and will bill Sun Life directly. If your dentist is recommending a crown or dentures, do not sit in the chair until you have a written pre-authorization in your hands. And check box 15 on your T4A. A code 1 means you're eligible, Anything else means you may have a problem that needs to be sorted out with your pension administrator. The CDCP is a genuine benefit for millions of Canadian seniors. For people who have spent years avoiding the dentist simply because of the cost, this plan has opened a door that felt permanently closed. But like most government programs, it comes with rules, and the consequences of not knowing those rules fall entirely on you, not on the system. You deserve to use every benefit you've earned, and you deserve to use it correctly so it doesn't come back to bite you later. Take 5 minutes today to check your renewal status. It's worth it. If you found this helpful and want to stay informed about the Canadian Dental Care Plan, CPP, OAS, GIS, and other updates that affect Canadian retirees, please consider subscribing to Canadian Retirement Benefits. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourself.